everybody, I'm Kelly Ehlers.
I'm Jeffrey Lunnen.
And this is Volume Up by The Tease. Hey, Jeff. Happy to be here today. How was your Thanksgiving?
So good. So much food. Too much food. Not enough pie.
Did the dog eat the turkey or the tofurkey? What did you have?
The dog did not touch either. We had both. What about you, Spark?
Spark is a well-behaved. I liken him like Mr. Peabody. Have you ever seen that? I mean, you've got a 2-year-old. Have you seen Mr. Peabody and Sherman?
I'm old enough to remember both of those.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Yep. So like the very, very smart dog that like wears a monocle and talks like goes back into history. That's Spark. He'll be like, I'm too refined to eat that off the table. So no, he's well-behaved.
Lucky you.
So if you haven't checked out last week's pod featuring Gina Charbonnet, former executive producer of the Essence Festival, now is the time to go back and do that. She's now building a new platform focusing on advocacy and equality, and she is absolutely amazing. Jeff, what was your favorite part? Like, what did you learn about Gina?
Not enough. I feel like we should have talked to her for another 3 hours. I want to talk about Eve's Bayou in a deep cut episode down the future. Let's get that. Like, I think we were just scratching the surface. Such a fascinating lady. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty pumped that she's going to be a guest contributor for The Tease, and she's going to round out that culture piece. Like, I love her perspective. She's got so much to share. So, hey, kudos to us. We got a new great guest contributor, right?
Plus, maybe we'll get some photos and video from New Orleans. I wish that I could go and see it.
Same. Have you ever been?
Like 5 years ago. Not anything terribly exciting.
It was a couple of years ago.
But I did have beignets.
Same. Got to go there. Cafe Du Monde. Yep. Bought the coffee, bought the mix, brought it all.
If you liked last week's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease. And send in questions to volumeup@TheTease.Shop. And we want to thank everyone who's listened and subscribed so far. We've been overwhelmed by the support. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and I think as the kids say, smash the sub button. Do I have that right? I don't know if I've ever smashed the sub button, but let's do it. On today's episode, I interviewed Katrin, co-founder of ikoo, a German beauty brand that just launched in the US.
You know, Kelly, I was snooping around on our Slack thread and I saw something about hair wraps.
Yeah.
What is that?
So I popped one of those hair wraps on a wild Sunday afternoon in quarantine. And let me tell you, my strands were like butter, just butter. So it's really interesting. It's like sort of you unfold it and inside the wrap, almost like it would be like a stocking cap, right? Obviously it's not wool. Okay. Right. But inside it's like, for lack of a better term, sort of coated with conditioning treatment that, and you can choose moisturizing, hydration, a variety of different treatments. You pop that sucker on, let it heat up and really absorb. And it's awesome. I mean, it was totally amazing. I think that it's a new category. And I think that the US is going to love it, just like Germany's loved it, just like the other countries they're in. So I'll send you a couple. You know, you don't have much hair, but maybe.
No, but I could use it.
Yeah.
We could use some hydration here.
So not to mention, I don't want to give any spoilers, but Katrin and I totally hit it off from the Netflix binges that are a little out there. I mean, you're not going to guess that her and I are listening to this or binging it, to agreeing that we do like some aspects of Kim Kardashian. We do. We both do. So it's a good interview. I think you're going to like it.
Kelly, what have you been thinking about in the past week? What has you excited? Any bones to pick? Lay it on me.
Yeah. So, okay, there's a couple. Number one, yes. In our first pod with Ray Cavello, he talked about how he's perfecting the perfect pizza. And I don't know what he's talking about, something with fermentation, which is way beyond my skills. I'm talking sauce and cheese and something, but I've been thinking about, I feel like I need a pizza oven now. I need a new tradition.
Obviously. I mean, quarantine's the perfect time. Get in there, fully support that, add it to the Black Friday purchase list.
Right. I mean, last weekend, my COVID boredom reached the level of I re-cleaned all of my makeup brushes. And then I thought about baking cinnamon rolls from scratch. I didn't do it. Yeah. So
you thought about it. So that's the important thing.
What about you? What brands or bones to pick do you have?
So I have really been obsessed with watching Rudy Giuliani's hair dye drip down
Yeah.
his face
Yeah.
and the response to the horror. That's been my thing. It makes you wonder, like, when he applied it, like
Yeah, I
how
mean,
quickly before he got on stage and started sweating it out. I mean, that's really
and I feel like if I had to think about it, there's those like there's like the spray, right? That a consumer, let's say a consumer can buy, right? And they just spray it on to touch up their grays. I feel like he
Mhm.
thought, I'm going big, I'm going on TV, I'm going to touch up those grays. And you
But
know
he laid it
what?
on thick.
So thick. And then he must have got so hot,
The
it
lights
just sort of
and maybe
melted.
other substances. Yeah,
You
it
know,
sure did melt right down.
like we all have that friend that's like, hey, Cal, like you're gonna need to, like, where was that person for Rudy? Why couldn't somebody just give him a little nudge, hand over the pocket square, and call it good?
That is an excellent question, Kelly. Where was
So
that friend for
my
him?
bone to pick is with Rudy's crew.
Interesting take. I'm enjoying that. Yeah, I hadn't considered that layer of complexity, of nuance, but that's what we're bringing you here on
Yeah,
Volume Up.
super
Mhm.
deep. Okay, Jeffrey, I feel like I can see it on your face that you might have a bone to pick.
I sure do. So we are now in week 3 of being blonde, and it's
Okay.
a wrap. And I got to tell you, what I've got a bone to pick with is yellow. I
Mhm.
can't keep it away. That brassiness, it's the
What about
problem.
some shimmer lights? Come on, pop some
You
shimmer lights
know,
in there.
you know, I do, and it
Okay.
works for a beautiful day, and then I got to do it again.
You're popping that
Yes.
brassiness like no one I've ever seen.
hmm
Why
hmm
why is it coming back every day? Okay, hairdressers, if you're out there, can we get some help, right? Can we send
I think I've
Jeffrey?
not lifted. Yep. Yep. I need some help. Send us
So
an email at volumeup@thetease.com. Let's give me some tips on how to get the lift that I need.
I want to see it, or I think we're going to see a new color maybe next week. Good, if we can't get rid of
Yeah.
this brassiness.
We might lean into the yellow
Okay.
all the way in with the
Oh,
neon.
okay.
We'll see.
All right. I'm on the edge of my seat.
We've got nothing but time here.
We got nothing but time. Cinnamon rolls, neon hair. We got nothing but time. Okay.
Speaking of time, our editorial team has been hard at work this week uncovering industry news, diving into brands you don't know but should, and here are our favorite headlines from TheTease.com.
I love the hairstylist love story. Ugh, Cheryl Bergamy, and I hope I'm saying that right. I love her story about how when she was little, her love affair started with hair when she was 9 because her mom was diagnosed with cancer. And so her mother taught her and her sister how to braid hair. I have chills. So I have chills.
Yep.
And then she moved on to her dolls and her neighbors' dolls and just sort of absorbed it. And then my last kicker of the article, and I'm totally being a spoiler here, but this is literally blowing up on our social and our web, so you got to check it out, is when like older or maybe sick clients come in and they just bust out of the salon, forget their canes, leave them behind because they feel so great. And that is why I love this industry. So check it out. Cheryl Bergamy, you're crushing it. Jeffrey, what do you got?
So something that's maybe not as uplifting, but kind of. So body positive icon, model, actress Barbie Fiera had a partnership with Becca Cosmetics that had been announced earlier this year. Finally, it's bearing fruit. We've got the Prismatica collection. It's beautiful. I don't think that that's a surprise to anyone. The images that have been released are incredible. It's super in that Euphoria Gen Z vibe that everybody's buzzing about. We loved it. Our team wrote about it. Includes all of the things that are part of the collection, which we think that you guys will be interested in. And because it's Becca Cosmetics, it's cruelty-free. For sure, check out that article. Loved it. Another thing that you should definitely check on the site is Killer Weave takes on a whole new meaning in Hulu's Bad Hair. This is a review of the Hulu movie Bad Hair, as described in the title. Basically, a weave has a killer agenda. There's an incredible cast. I could not really say that I understood the black hair experience prior to watching the movie with the level of sensitivity.
Okay.
Having watched it, I feel like I've got a much greater appreciation. Certainly, it's satire, but it's incredible. So I highly recommend read the review, check out the movie. You'll be happy with both.
Great, because my Netflix, my Hulu, my Showtime, my HBO lists, they're dwindling. I'm running out of streaming content.
Bad hair on the list. As always, so much going on. Thank you to our hardworking editors on TheTease.com. We are proud to publish the stories that salon pros and consumers care about.
And now for an ad break. We've got a special Cyber Week promotion running on our shop, TheTease.Shop. Free shipping on all orders over $50 with code FREESHIPPING. Go check it out. We even have some ikoo products there. So get inspired by Katrin and the badass female founder she is. Head over there with code FREESHIPPING.
I'm so excited to hear your interview with Katrin. What's one takeaway that we should listen for?
I mean, beside the fact that she's witty, she's brilliant, and the ikoo products were no doubt developed out of a total need and necessity, which you'll find out really at the beginning of the pod. I think that's when you know you have magic, right? When you're carving out a space to win because you feel it in your heart. You know it's right. You're solving a need. And I'm incredibly excited. I think I've used that word a couple of times to hear Katrin's take on the products that her and her husband have developed, launching them here in the United States. Us consumers, prosumers, and pros are in for a treat with ikoo. Excited for you to listen. Hi, Katrin. Thank you so much for being on Volume Up by The Tease. I could not be more excited to have you here. Thank you very much for your time.
Very welcome. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to answer to your questions, and I'm excited.
Let's introduce you to all of our listeners. Katrin Von Hallwyl is the founder of ikoo, a German-based beauty brand focusing on clean, powerful beauty products. Katrin and her husband, Christopher, started the company back in 2013 and just launched here in the US this fall. ikoo is known for creating clean, high-performing, innovative hair care products and tools for women to empower women. And I can tell you, no detail is missed. From ikoo's innovative brush shape and design, which is absolutely gorgeous, to disrupting and introducing us to a new hair care category called hair masks, the brand is certainly on my must-watch list. So Katrin, you are no doubt a leader and visionary in our industry. And again, so excited to have you here on the podcast today.
Thank you very much for the very charming introduction. I'm blushing. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. And yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. I'm excited to certainly learn more about your story. It's incredibly dynamic. And personally, I know a little bit about you and how ikoo came to be, which is amazing. But I would love for you to take us back to the beginning. And yes, please share with us your origin story.
ikoo got started actually, it was a funny coincidence when I was sit together with Christopher, my husband and my co-founder, as you said before, in a little cafe in our hometown of Munich. And there was a woman sitting next to us, and she started all of a sudden taking out dirty brush full of hair, and she's starting brushing herself in public, which you can basically not do. I think you can't do it in Germany, and I think you can't do it in the US, right?
It's not good form. I'll give you that. I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's even awkward to watch. No, as being a woman, watching someone taking out this brush and starting brushing yourself in public. This is something you cannot do. And this was actually, well, I thought this is so awkward, and the brush is so not nice. There is room for improvement, let's say. And this is how we literally felt into the hair care industry. So this was the ignition, let's say.
Yeah, you got it. And tell us a little bit about your experience even before this coincidence or happening at the cafe that kind of propelled ikoo. But tell us your background as well as Christopher's, because I think it's really interesting and speaks to the luxury of the brand, the finite details of the packaging and design. So would love to hear a bit more about that as well.
Yeah, of course. So Christopher is more Christopher is from the city. So I'm more from from the countryside. Let's say I'm a country girl. So Christopher's upbringing is totally different from mine. So Christopher, as I said, born in the city, went to like boarding school, and even his professional career was like in luxury goods. He worked for LVMH. He worked for Porsche Design. So he has big understanding of design, of shapes, let's say in more like high maintenance. I'm more from like very conscious, very down to earth, very, let's say, normal, as my upbringing was very like normal, let's say. And that's the reason why we work together so well, because this is how we created ikoo and how we combined how we are and our passion into our brand.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about, I love kind of the juxtaposition of your backgrounds and how they sort of melded together to develop this brand. What's it like working with a husband and wife duo?
It's not a tough question, but I really have to say it's not easy. And people who are going to tell you it's all working out very well and it's not a problem at all, they're basically kind of like not lying, but they do not tell the truth exactly. Yeah. Being husband and wife, like working together, is fun, but it does come with a challenge, let's say, when it comes to switching off. We have to set a rule that don't talk about work at the weekends, let's say.
Yeah, I bet that is the challenge, because your minds are both reeling with this incredible brand that you've created. So it would be difficult at night to shut it off or on the weekends. And I think that, especially because you're so passionate about the brand and
definitely.
So I know that ikoo is a female first brand that also focuses on hair confidence. Tell me why that kind of mantra or brand statement is important to you. And then also how diversity and inclusion come into play with the brand.
So I'm start with answer about female first brand.
Great. Yep.
Because there are, let's say, so many brands that use like flawless models to convey the idea of beauty. But I sometimes feel that those women live behind a filter, and it's kind of sad. Mm-hmm. And we want to use our brand, call out, it's not about being perfect. It's more like being yourself perfectly. And we also don't just talk about female welfare issues. It's about our tagline, and you know that, it's like you don't have to fit in to have great hair. And this is why we are a female first brand.
I love it. I think that is so important. And you guys are making sure that you guys aren't just saying we're female first and, diversity and inclusion are important. You actually are representing that in the models that you're using, in the graphics and the marketing that you're doing. And what I love and was first sort of drawn into by the brand is you have a character and her name is Lola, and would love to know how she came to be to personify the brand, from that diversity and inclusion perspective as well.
That's right. Lola is our spokesperson. She's the person who's basically representing our voice. She has this cheeky attitude. She's a fun person. She describes the product. I have to point this out because this is something what people ask me all the time. Why Lola and female first? Because I'm a female founder, as you know. Yes. And 80% of my workforce within the company is driven by strong women. Why not having like one of these strong women, in this case Lola, explaining and bringing the brand to the women out there? So basically this is the story behind Lola.
I love how she embodies every woman and values that hair confidence, again, with the female first diversity and inclusion. And one of the phrases I love within your marketing is that ikoo is hair care with attitude, and it really embodies any hair type, race, creed, shape, or shoe size. And so I think that's brilliant and certainly going to resonate as it has in Europe, certainly going to resonate here in the United States as well. If I draw a little bit more on kind of that female founder piece, tell me what you think about unique challenges that female founders might have in today's world or that you had in creating this brand.
I've been asked this question many times, and I still have not like a right answer to this, because I don't see being a female founder as challenging. I'm proud. I'm proud to be a female founder. There are too little women like founding and believing in themselves and going out and do it. Of course, it's sometimes a challenge when it comes to, let's say, I meet a lot of men in the business, and sure. I'm most of the time I'm the only, like, not the only woman, but of course, like, you know, women have to like speak a little bit more up in order to get heard. But being a female founder is something which I'm basically very proud of, and it's not so challenging for me.
That's great. I think that the more female founders we can have kind of chipping away at that, you know, having our voices heard, I think that that's amazing. So kudos to you on that. And I love that you are proud of that, because you should be.
Definitely.
So we hear the phrase lifestyle brand a lot, and knowing that being in the consumer beauty space, your products can be used for both professionals and consumers. Tell us why it was important for you to create a product that sort of straddled both markets that would work for both.
We are a lifestyle brand, but for us, it's not about just being trendy. It's about, of course, products that fit into women's everyday lifestyle. So, of course, we have the approach being like a professional product, but it should be and can be used, of course, from end consumers. And I think this is the way how our industry works, even in this COVID pandemic. So people at home want high functioning and like products who are like performing, but in end use, of course, from hairstylists as well, but also easy to use for them at home. I think this is what we two combined. And as far as I can tell, the market has like accepted this, and it's much appreciated.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you're on kind of the cusp of that trend, making sure that brands are thinking about, you know, stylists as consumers, right? They want a nice, beautiful product that's highly functional. And then consumers, as we become more savvy with our product selection, we want products that our stylists and pros are using because we want it to be high performing as well. So I think that very smart from a positioning standpoint. And then speaking of pros, I know that you've got your partnership with BSG. Tell us a little bit about how that came to fruition, why you wanted to enter the US market, and what opportunity that represents for the brand.
Okay, of course we did our homework first. So I don't know if you might know that, because it's basically when we started here in our like Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. These were our home base market. So, and what we did, we started in the professional segment with our hardware product, meaning that if you come from a professional background, I think consumers rely on the professionals when it comes to hair care and advice.
Sure.
So we want to do the same basically in the US, going in the market with a like well-known, high-performing, a good partner, a professional partner, which like consumers rely on. Yeah. And we're very lucky to found BSG and very happy with this decision because it was the best to do.
Yeah, it's great. I think that having that pull through, you know, seated with the pro and then that pull through eventual consumer piece is really, really important. So if I think a little bit about products, I would love to hear about all of your products and innovations. Tell me a little bit about, I know the hairbrush was the first product out the gate based on that conversation and that what you witnessed at the cafe. Tell us how you came to be with the design and innovation of that first product.
So the first product was basically the home, the ikoo home and the ikoo pocket. And it has, the background is like, Christopher and myself, we were traveling a lot, like back and forth to Asia, to many different places and cities. And I'm like suffering from migraine and from tension in the head. I can basically get only rid of this like enormous tension if I either go to a TCM or TCM massage or to a TCM doctor in order to get rid of the tension. I had the problem, and Christopher was thinking about getting rid of my problem, because at the end it is his problem, as you know, we married. And then we thought, okay, there must be something which, like, you do it on an everyday basis, like you brush yourself with this little convenience which you can carry everywhere, and by the same time you relax your scalp while brushing your hair, and you can get rid of the tension. And so we spoke to Christoph, which is a TCM doctor, and we start developing this kind of Bristol structure, which is this chessboard structure, to have the bristles positioned in order to stimulate the meridians on your head while brushing.
That's incredible. So many layers to that story. That is impressive. And then, okay, so from the brush, then tell me a little bit about what products were next to the line.
Yeah. Okay. As I said, we started with the hardware and with the main line of ikoo brushes, like the pockets and the home, and then from there we went to the Paddle X brushes, which are the blow styling brushes, and then from there we went to the electronic tools, which is the eStyler Pro and the eStyler Jet, our like straightening brushes. And from there we started like already 4 years ago with our famous and internationally known hair wrap.
Yes.
So,
Now explain to our listeners what a hair wrap is, because to be honest with you, I've used them. I think they're absolutely amazing. It's a nice little, like putting on a face mask, if you will, a nice little indulgent treat for your hair. And the results are incredible. So tell me a little bit about where that came from, that idea, and kind of this new category that you've entered.
So each and everyone knows about this K-beauty, right? So this is something which was growing over the last 4 years with this, it's not like, it's called sheet mask, right? For the face.
Yes.
And and we thought the hair was kind of being neglected. So since then, I think many brands have, of course, grown in this area, but we thought, okay, we wanted to do something for hair in general, and of course for me again, because I'm traveling a lot. And I often said to Christopher, and you know it for yourself, like going even on a short trip, you always have to carry around a shampoo and a conditioner bottle. Yes. And it's horrible because basically you don't need it. You don't need this amount. Yeah, so we combined like saying, because we're high functioning, so we said, we're gonna want to do this hair wrap because it's definitely working. We put a nice product inside to make it like, you can even wash your hair with a cheap shampoo from a hotel room, but when you use the mask afterwards, it's soft and fluffy and it smells amazing.
Yeah, agree.
And it's so convenient to travel. And this was basically the background when and why we started to develop this hair wrap.
That's amazing. I love it. I think that's really smart. Have you dealt with any copycats in the category yet?
Yeah, of course. So the sheet mask in general are growing, I think, also for feet and hand, right? Yeah. And we have this, you cannot prevent copycats, huh? It's like, right. It's basically not possible. So but as a company, we rarely look to the left or right. So yes. I have to say, we believe in our products, values, and the vision, and that's important to us.
I love that. I think that, yes, any great innovation will be soon copied, but those innovators are oftentimes on to the next 2 or 3 innovations. And speaking of that, can you give us a sneak peek? Are there new innovations on the horizon for the brand?
Of course, we are an innovative hair care. There must be innovation. This is what you're expecting. This is what the market is expecting. This is what our customers are expecting. And we listen to our consumers and we listen to our customers. And there is basically something which I can share with you guys. It's we're working on, let's say, a scalp care line.
I think I've always found it interesting. My mom was a stylist and salon owner for 40 years. And so I've tested and tried every product, had every hairstyle, you name it. But one thing that, she always preached, if you will, is the scalp health and maintenance, because I think a lot of people don't realize that your scalp has pores, right? It's similar to your face. And we take such care in a multi-stage regimen with our skincare. They often forget about, also treating the scalp from a health
Definitely, because this is basically the very same skin as it is in your face.
Right.
And how many times you peel your skin off, you use toner, you use serum, but no one is intensively taking care of the skin on your head, on like underneath your hair, your scalp.
I think that's so important, especially as at least here in the US, things like hair extensions are really, really popular, which means, there's also some other ingredients and materials close to your scalp. And so thinking through that, I think, is really smart, and certainly would be a welcome innovation from an awareness. Hey, take care of your scalp. And then, oh, by the way, here's some products from the innovators in the space. So I love that. Very smart.
Yeah, Kelly, I tell you something, because maybe I think because you read about me and my story, because the last year I haven't had any hair because I went through chemotherapy. This was the time I was basically taking care of my scalp tremendously, because it was winter this time. So I started scrubbing it, and then afterwards I was like, okay, how do I treat it? And there is so little of good scalp care products for even women like me. When you are in the situation, you want to treat yourself, and you want to make sure that your pores are getting clean, your skin is treated well, because you are worried, is my hair going to grow back? How it's going to grow back? And you want to do the utmost to make sure that after, when you went through such nightmare, that you have pretty hair again.
Absolutely. That's a little, maybe a ray of sunshine from a very, very difficult situation. And I think that, in hard times, that's oftentimes when innovation pushes through, right? So that's a great story. Thank you for sharing.
With ikoo, we do things for a reason. We really think about the things. When we started with the ikoo brushes against the migraine, and then so on, we were we really look deep into things. And that's the reason why we now having the innovation for 2021, because of my experience, of course. And this is something which I can bring in and try to make things better.
Your products are solving for a problem in the marketplace, right? And that's when success is born, when you can fill that gap and that need for consumers. So really thoughtful. One thing the mantra that I love for your brand is Freelosophy. Can you tell us what that means and kind of why the brand has coined that term?
It is coined, let's say. This is a way of calling out what isn't in our ingredients. And of course, that we never harm animals and insects included. So this is our philosophy.
Okay, I love it. I think that's really smart. And certainly as consumers over the last years or even year, we have become much more adept at looking into ingredients, making sure that we're aligning with brands that are cruelty and vegan free, that there's no parabens, no sulfates, silicone, all of those types of things. So really, again, back to your innovation and your brand foundation, really, really smart to include those things.
Yeah, I think mainly, of course, women, as this is 90%, 95% of our consumer demographic, are getting more conscious. They want to know about what is inside the product I'm using. What do I spending my money for? I think it's comprehensible to me. If I'm spending money and I go to a professional shop, I want it to have something which is good. Even in the pandemic now, you're staying at home. You want to treat yourself something, do something nice for yourself. You have the time to do something. And I would rather enjoy a good product instead of having something which is which I basically do not know what is inside.
Right. It's kind of interesting to think back a decade or two ago when that wasn't even on anyone's mind. Like what were we using and putting on our hair and our scalp and our body? And it's been a wonderful, I think, consumer wave of knowledge and education in that category. And, if a brand isn't looking at those types of things, I think that eventually consumers aren't going to be interested in their brand. So really smart from the foundation for you to build all of that Freelosophy in, if you will.
Thank you.
You bet. One thing that we're all facing is beauty in the pandemic. So how do you feel that the beauty industry or for the brand has changed during this global pandemic?
I think firstly, we have seen a huge rise into online orders, of course. This is, and as you know, we distributed in over 50 countries and we have like waves of business, let's say, shutdowns and startups again and back and forth. But the good thing is that the consumer so far is showing us of kind of like bouncing back. I would say it's a wave we have to all ride at the moment. But I think, of course, strong and it's like stable and strong is online orders.
All right. So this segment is called Quick Take. In every episode, we're asking each guest the same question. So would love your quick take on a couple of questions that I'm going to just pose to you right now.
Okay. Shoot.
All right. All right. Shoot. Here we go. A brand or product you're loving right now that isn't your own.
Oh my God, I'm so old fashioned. I feel ashamed to tell you because I'm really like, oh no. I have my skincare brand since like 110 years, which is Elizabeth Arden.
Oh, really? Elizabeth
Yes.
Arden. All right.
I don't know, this is so granny style, but I love it. I'm using it since ages.
I love it. Okay, which product is it? Do you use the ceramides or?
I mean, the ceramide, the 8-hour cream, a lot of different. Yeah, actually, the entire range.
Okay, I love it.
I have basically. Yeah, I'm very like I'm boring. I'm sorry.
Nope. I think you are brand loyal, and you know what? Talking about a amazing female founder, Elizabeth Arden herself. Absolutely amazing. Did you know that she created the 8-hour cream to basically mend some areas on her horses back in the day?
That's right. This is I'm wondering where should I put the cream, but okay, well.
No, I have some 8-hour cream and I also have some ceramides. So I'm with you. Those little pods, I love them. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one, what are you streaming or watching in your downtime?
I lately watched something on Netflix, which is, I think it called Letterman, My Next Guest.
Okay.
And it was the episode with Kim Kardashian West, and the other one was with, I think, Robert Downey Jr. And it was very entertaining, I have to say.
Okay. I have also watched both of those, and I thought it was interesting to get a look inside Kim Kardashian. I mean, we all are looking at her life anyway, but she does seem like a nice soul. It was a good interview. Yeah,
she's like a decent lady. She's like very calm. She was very relaxed. She has this cute voice. I was quite surprised, and I have to say, I was not like so much into the Kardashians before, but after this interview, I changed my mind a little bit.
Oh wow! All right, okay. So go David Letterman. I mean,
David Letterman.
He's a brilliant.
He's looking like a goat by now.
I know. What is he doing?
This hair all over the place. Oh my God.
And he's real wiry, framed with this long beard. But
how old is he?
I don't know.
He looks like, have you ever like watched like, what's the name? It's like Lord of the Rings. And there is this guy, which is called Gandalf. Reminds me of, that's David Letterman.
I mean, I feel like he's like, I did my time. I put on a suit for all these years and was well groomed. Here I am in all my glory. But I love those. I think he's obviously a wonderful interview, and it's a very sort of one-on-one setting. So I love that. All right. Real talk words of advice for professionals who want to get to the top of our industry, the top of the beauty or salon professional industry.
Be honest. Be honest to your consumers, to your customers. Be yourself. Be comprehensible and sustainable. And it's I always say less is more. And I think this is something we learned during the pandemic, that people focus on their needs and what they basically need. And this is something we should take as a learning from what we've experienced so far. And I think being true to yourself and to your customers, and look at the things that they really need, is something which brings you definitely forward.
Yes, I agree. I think the pandemic has taught us about kind of reverting back to all of the things that are important in life, whether it's family, health, financial stability, versus the more, right? When it comes down to it and things get rough, it's not about more, it's about less, and those things that matter.
It's about less. I definitely think so. And somehow, of course, it's horrible. The pandemic is horrible, but I always try to look at the bright things and what the pandemic has brought to us, and it's not always bad.
I agree. I mean, I think it's allowed us to slow down, to spend more quality time, and then think about too those basics. And I think you're right. Mm-hmm. So the last question is, do you have any 2021 predictions for our industry?
Online sales will definitely be stable and even rise. And we're getting more let's say, I think end consumers will come back to their hairstylists. Even we need online education, we need online how-tos, we need more trainings. Things like this will definitely be more needed from end consumers. And I think this will be a shift and a change. We have to be all more educational, more education online, maybe more calls, more even maybe people want consultant from their hairstylist, even in Zoom calls. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I guess we'll see, right? We'll put the bad of 2020 behind us and focus on the great things that we learned, and then push forward to 2021.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited about 2021. I see it as a challenge. I see it as a positive challenge. And I'm very excited, and I cannot wait until I can get on a plane and get to the US and finally meet you all.
I agree. Well, we'll be here for it. Either that or we've bookmarked October already, that we'll be heading over to Germany. And I can't wait.
Yes. Come over.
I love it. Katrin, this has been such a joy talking to you, a strong, intelligent female business founder and owner. Thank you for joining us and for your time today. So many interesting aspects of beauty to think about, and where really the brand started from an innovation standpoint. Before we go, can you let us know where we can find you and ikoo in the US?
Of course, with BSG and in all the Cosmoprof shops, and with ikoo Hair US online. And so far, that's all.
Great. That's it. Well, we'll find you. So on Instagram, it's at ikoo_US, and Facebook.com/ikoo USA, which is IKOO USA. Huge thank you to Katrin for coming on the pod. And, the best part is, yes, thank you, Katrin, so much for coming on the pod. But Jeffrey, we are literally booking our trip for Oktoberfest. So we're heading to Germany. We're wearing
2021.
the outfits. You're going to wear the lederhosen. I don't know what the female version of that is. I hope it comes in black. But we shall be there to party with Katrin and Christopher at Oktoberfest.
Tune in next Monday for episode 5. We're talking with the one and only Sam Villa.
Sam Villa. We're here for it. He's amazing. In the meantime, be sure to hit subscribe, rate and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Read the Tease, and send in questions. And most importantly, questions about Jeffrey's toning, right?
We know that
we need it. We need some help. Yeah. Okay. Send questions into volumeup@TheTease.com.
Volume Up is a Tease Media production. This episode was produced by Monica Hickey and Stephen Jotterand. Thank you to our creative team, Kay Reynolds and Haley Hefner, for putting together the graphics for this episode, and Josh Landowski for editing so you can watch and listen on YouTube.